Here are my meatballs, and as you can see, you can actually see the vegetables in there. Sometimes, again, I'll use Gouda cheese, and you'll see that in there, and it'll ooze out. It's so good, but I didn't make that this time. But that is a little tip. You can add your cheese inside of the meatball if you're trying to get really, really spiffy and spicy with it. Okay, so this is what the meatballs look like, all right? So now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oil that has garlic that we put in there. Okay, so that is going to really give that oil some flavor as we're cooking these meatballs. Okay, so as we put that in, you can kind of see that the garlic has browned. You can hear that sizzle that we want to hear, that is cooking. Okay. And as these meatballs are cooking, you want them to be kind of spaced out. You don't want to really have everything on top of each other or be too crowded, because then it won't cook evenly. So as we let that brown and cook, we're going to also start working on the sauce and the noodles. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys tax tidbit number 2. All right, is it a myth or a truth number 2? Now, as it relates to the sauce, normally, okay, I will go ahead and get tomato paste and plain tomato sauce in the can, and I will go ahead and start making that sauce myself with fresh tomatoes and things of that nature. But today, I just don't got time, okay? I have things to do, and the kids are home on holidays, so I also have to spend this time with them. So I'm going to go ahead and cheat, and I like Prego. A lot of people have their own, you know, brands that they use, but I like to mix them. So I'll go ahead and mix the roasted garlic and herb and the creamy vodka. I'm gonna go ahead and mix those together, and I'm still gonna season it so that it's still flavorful. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little tip to the sauce, okay? The secret to the sauce that I've heard from my Italian friends, that the secret to the sauce is how long you let it sit. The more the sauce sits, the more flavorful it gets, the better it tastes. The mouths of all of my Italian friends that make their sauce from scratch, and it is just yummy, okay? So that's the secret with that. As it relates to the noodles, I really don't need to show you guys how to make the noodles. Just, we're not making noodles from scratch. Get whatever spaghetti, angel hair, whatever it is that you want to use, put it in boiling hot water, sprinkle a little bit of oil in it so it doesn't stick, and a little bit of salt. Let it boil. Once it's done, drain it. So I like to add a little basil to the noodles after it's done and mix it all around so that it has like those speckles of green basil. Oregano I like to put in my spaghetti, so you guys can try that as well. So that's pretty much it. We're going to check on our meatballs afterwards, and then I'll show you what everything looks like all together. So now let's get into myth or truth number 2. So that the question is clear, I am not a chef, okay? I am just sharing what I'm cooking for my children tonight, because I have to make content and I have to do a tax tidbit. So I'm making this easier for myself by doing it all together. But I am not a chef. So is it a myth or a truth that I am not able to write off the things that you see that we use in today's meal? So that means the meat, the vegetables, the seasoning, the pots and pans, the oils, anything that you saw that I wrote that I used today, am I able to write it off? Is that a truth or a myth? Because again, I am not a chef. What would you say? Now, if you said that that is true, you are somewhat right and somewhat wrong. It all depends on how you think about it. Now, because I am clearly creating content for you guys, okay? Because I absolutely make money from my taxes, hands down, right? So in order to have a legitimate write-off, it has to be in the pursuit of making money in your business. Because I am also creating content as a content creator that also covers lifestyles and not just taxes. I cover real estate and lifestyles. All of this is a write-off. Every single thing that I cooked, everything that I purchased at the grocery store is a write-off. If you are a W-2 worker, you have no side business, no business on the side, no self-employment, nothing that you're doing on the side, there's not even a question. Your groceries are absolutely not a write-off. Let's be very clear about that. If you do have a side hustle, but let's say your side hustle is making children gifts for Christmas, that has nothing to do with any type of content creation for cooking. So you still would not be able to write off your groceries. There's no way to tie in cooking with groceries, with, you know, making a toy puppet for Christmas for children. There's no way to do it. So let's be smart, guys. This is a write-off for me because I cover lifestyle. Especially, you guys see me all the time putting out stories. This ties in very nicely with that, right? So it is very easy to prove that not only is this in the pursuit of making money, because I'm clearly talking about taxes in this is clearly a write-off. Now, what's going to also help me is that I document on the back of the receipt when I purchased all of this stuff used in content creation video. This is the video that was posted. This is what I talked about. This is how it ties into my taxes. Okay, I want to have clear documentation on that receipt. Good old-fashioned knife. Okay, so let me make this a little bit even more clear, all right? If you have a vlogger, and maybe that vlogger travels around maybe the city, okay? And they go to different restaurants and they do different reviews on different restaurants. Well, it would make sense that they could write off those restaurants that they're doing reviews on, as long as that ties into making some sort of money. Maybe, you know, they're making money off of Instagram. Maybe they're receiving a 1099 from YouTube. Maybe people are contacting them and asking them, paying them to come and review their restaurant. Things like that. They have to be making money in order to have a write-off from it. But it would make sense that once that happens, all of those visits when they're paying, okay, and how they're getting there is going to be a write-off for them. On the flip side, okay, let's say we have a content creator that is covering real estate and investment homes, and they travel doing reviews of different homes, of distressed homes in different states. So it would make sense that they have to get on a flight, right? They have to maybe rent a car. They're going to different states. They're going to different countries. That content creator, it would make sense that they would be able to write off their flights, their rental cars, whatever it took them to travel from state to state or country to country. Now, of course, they too need to have airtight records. Maybe they also had to buy supplies like hard hats or maybe certain attire to protect them from what they may be going into, right? When you're going into these distressed, abandoned homes, you don't know if these homes have fleas. You don't know what you're walking into. You don't know if, you know, maybe there's some construction being done. You need to be safe and you need to have the right attire. So those hard hats, maybe some cover-up gear to protect yourselves from, you know, getting fleas or whatever it is that you guys see where I'm going, right? So it would make sense that that would be a write-off for that person, okay? What would not make sense is that person, that first person that we talked about that is a vlogger and reviewing different restaurants within that state, it would not make sense for them to write off hard hats. It would not make sense for them to write off attire. It would not make sense for them to write off flights to South Africa or flights to Chicago when they live in New York, because their line of work is clearly documented that they only do reviews in the state that they're in, right? So that's very important. That is how you're going to differentiate the two, right? Just like it would not make sense for that person who was creating content about different properties and real estate that are distressed from state to state, country to country, finding good deals, right? It would not make sense for them to just write off different restaurants in the state that they're in. That has nothing to do with what they're doing unless it's clearly documented that they also cover distressed properties in the state that they're in. So what I'm getting at, guys, it needs to make sense. If you are a fisherman doing vlogging about fishermen, you know, if you are a content creator that creates content for children or maybe daycares or something that has to do with the daycare owner, you know, the life of a daycare owner, there would be no need for you to write off all of these lavish restaurants to where you're going to eat, because one has nothing to do with the other. So guys, the question was, is it a myth that I could not write off all of these things because I am not a chef? And again, I just broke down to you why the answer could possibly truth, or why the answer could possibly be truth, or why the answer could possibly be a myth. It's all in what you do. So guys, as I stated, I am not a tax attorney and I am not a CPA. It's very important that you guys get that. However, I do have some knowledge, and the purpose of all of these videos is not for you to just take my word and run for it. It's so that you guys can start having some real meaningful, knowledgeable, educated conversations with whoever is doing your taxes and whoever is advising you. So if you feel like something that I said today is worth you having a conversation with your CPA or even a tax attorney to see how, you know, you can make some of these things work, if these things will work for you, well, then I encourage you to do that. All right. So it's not just watch my videos and then run. There's a A, B, and C. Okay. Watch my videos, take what you're going to take from it, and then go have a conversation with your CPA or a tax attorney to see if and how it can work for you. So guys, that is my little disclaimer, okay? Because I do not want to hear about nothing. I need to keep myself safe as well. That is my little disclaimer. I'm going to put it in the beginning of this video as well, okay? So the next thing that we're going to cover the next time you guys see me is why I believe that all sole proprietors should be an LLC. Understand that LLCs are not tax entities. They are legal entities, okay? So again, if you feel the need to have a conversation with the tax attorney this season, guys, if you need assistance with filing your taxes, whether that is an LLC, a sole proprietor, a W-2, whatever it is, make sure you contact my office. We are here to assist you. You can DM me at The Real Shannon Williams, The Real Shannon Williams on Instagram. Or you can text the number 404-655-2308. Make sure you mention this video, and we'll be sure to make sure you get a discount as well. Okay, so if you guys want more of these cooking tidbits along with the taxes, let me know. I am absolutely open to whatever it is that you guys want to see. This channel is here for you. So please be vocal about what it is that you want to see. And if it is within my reach, I am happy to explore, you know, any suggestions from you guys. Make it a great Tuesday, and hopefully you guys receive some information, whether that was how to make a great meatball, or whether that was a tax tidbit, whether you're able to determine a myth and a truth through the two topics that we discussed today. Also, guys, I almost forgot, okay, this is very, very important. Very important. When it comes to the meatballs, after you brown it on both sides, make sure you drain it. Don't leave all of that oil at the bottom of the pan when you add your sauces to it. Okay, make sure you drain it. I like to use the same pot because of all of those flavors at the bottom of the pan. I don't like to just take my meatballs and put it in a different pot. However, I will drain it because you don't want that oil in your spaghetti sauce. Okay, so please make sure you drain it. It just tastes better that way, before you add your spaghetti sauce to it. And I will give you guys a picture of how everything went together. Okay, and so for the cheesy garlic bread, guys, I will go ahead and post that in a different video, because I promised you I would, so you'll see that later. It's just that needs to be cooked closer to the time the children are going to eat, so that it is fresh. The cheese is melty. It's been fun. Bye. One, two, three. Go ahead. Bye bye. That shit you did was reckless. It was stupid, and it was. You're lucky. Your mother was my mother's closest. Besides, models